Welcome to the channel. Today I'm gonna make naan bread in my Ooni fire grill, so come along! So what is naan bread? Naan bread is a traditional Indian bread that is used as a side dish or as a bread to the dinner. You make it normally in a tandoori, that's a clay oven, like a big clay pot. You have fire on the bottom and you put the dough on the side of the pot. And I think that could be quite similar to an Ooni that lies in this direction. You have fire from the back and you have the stone, so I think it could be quite good results. I'm gonna make two different types. I'm gonna make one little bit quicker version. I use baking powder, and I'm gonna use one with traditional yeast. So you're gonna see how different are, how they will rise up, and yeah, the taste and texture of it. So let's start make the dough. The first one I'll start to make is the one I'm gonna use yeast. For that I used 120 milliliters of hot water, 4 grams of yeast and 13 grams of sugar. So whisk it up here so it got solved here. And when it got solved, I put some cling film on it and let it rest for about 10 minutes. So let it rest for 10 minutes, then we come back. So now it's gone 10 minutes, so take away the cling film. See there the yeast has started to bubble in a little bit. You put in 30 grams of oil, 3 grams of salt, around 65 grams of yogurt, is about a deciliter. I like to use exact measurements in grams instead of a volume, because it's different type of subjects have different volumes, so it's easier to get it more precise if you use weight. So then you stir around a little bit, so you can see that the yogurt got dissolved in the liquid, so you don't get any lumps of yogurt in it. So now it's got dissolved. Then you take 270 grams of normal bread flour and you stir around a little bit until you can see you get the consistency of it. Now it starts to bind together here. And then you start using your hand and give it a little bit of knitting. You should have a little bit moist in the dough, but it should not be too moist. So now I think it's ready. So now it has to stand for like 1 to 2 hours before it doubles in size. And then we're gonna make out naan breads of it. So let's move on to making the quick one with baking powder instead. So now we start to do the dough with baking powder. First we put in 4 grams of baking powder, 3 grams of salt, 6 grams of sugar. We put 14 grams of oil and around 100 grams of yogurt. Then we stir it around so it got all dissolved. Then we add 260 grams of bread flour. And stir it until it can get mixed. Now it's pretty dry. We're going to add milk. In the last one we used water. Here we're going to add milk as an extra liquid. And all the recipes you can find downstairs with the ingredients and the measurements. So while stirring this here, so if you like the content I'm doing, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you have any comments about this one, or if you have ideas what I should do, please leave them in comment down below. So, and it's important to get subscribers to the channel so it can grow and I have possibility to do more things. And I want to cooperate with you. So if you have any ideas of things you want me to do, foods, whatever, please don't be shy. Put some comments down below and I will see what I can do. So now we have a pretty loose dough. It's more like something we do for pie. So now we will add milk, but not much, a little bit in the sense. Here's in this cup is approximately 30 grams of milk. So we take half of that. And then you stir it around. Still see it dry, so we take the rest of the milk there. Start knitting a little bit with our hand. Feel like the dough that's gonna get stick. So, and this recipe, our base recipe, is a little bit depending how the flour acts and so on. There are different types of flour, so follow the recipe, but don't be afraid of adding something more. So I can feel here, I will try a little bit more before I will add a little bit more milk because it's felt a little bit dry. But I can already feel here, comparing to the other dough, that it's more dense. It's more dense dough than the one with yeast. So see how the end result will be. Yeah, it should have a little bit more of milk in it. Can take the rest of the oil here, so maybe that will solve. Gonna go to the refrigerator and get a little bit more dash of milk. Put in 1 tablespoon more, that's approximately 15 grams. See if we can get it a little bit more workable. Yeah. Now I feel it get a little bit more like a normal dough. Was a little bit dry before, so I'm gonna change that in the recipe to put in a little bit more milk in it. So now this is done here. So we let it rest for 10 minutes, then we take out the other dough and bake them out and see how they look. Now we have both our doughs here. This is the one with yeast and this is the one with baking powder. And the recipes are made for 4 bread. So let's start dividing them into 4 different pieces. Take these 3 to put aside. First I'm gonna do a test bread. So start with one with the dough. So just making a normal round bread like this. You can have a rolling pin if you prefer that. It's just going to be a bread in a normal size here. Don't make it too thin, but it's not too thick. It's something like this here. That's the first one with the dough, with the yeast. Take that on, if you can feel directly it's harder. The baking powder version here. But it's quite workable, so I don't feel it could be any big problems with it. So now it's approximately the same in size and everything. So let's go out and put them in a grill and see how they will bake off. So come along. So now out at the pizza oven. We'll try to start the first one with yeast. See how that will do. I should guess it's about the same as when you're doing pizza. In, turn 15 seconds, turn, out. Five, 10. Here we have 15 seconds. This got really big like that. Ooh. Get a little bit down, boy. So, turn it in again. 15 seconds here. Wait. And here. Really got very high. Yeah. Okay, well, it seems actually done. So let's try the one with baking powder. So that put in the one with baking powder. Well, the same procedure, 15 seconds, then turn it around. More. Oh, there it's done, really quickly. So let's go in and taste them. So then we're back from the grill. And obviously you can see a big difference between them. The one with baking powder didn't get up so high, got very dense. The other one get up really well, it's very airy. So let's cut them and see how they look texture wise. First thing you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but the one that is with baking powder is very dense. The yeast one is more airy. I see the taste of the difference between them. Oh, tastes really good. Yeah, a little bit not so airy on the one with the baking powder considering the one with the yeast. So I would say if you have the time, go with one with yeast. The other one is an alternative, but it's not the same thing. It gets very flat. It's more like a pancake, and this is like airy. And so let's go and talk about topping of naan breads. So now when a comparison between the different doughs are done, we're going to do a little bit of how you can flavor them and topping them. The normal way of just with naan bread is just to put on melted butter. But you can use other things, like you can use nigella seeds, garlic, coriander, or parsley. Coriander, as everybody knows, had a little bit of perfumy taste, so everybody don't like it. So I like it personally, but if you don't, you have parsley as a good alternative to it. Of course, you can bake out the breads and you can put the topping on afterwards. But I have another way I think it's very good. So you take a normal dough, and you make your naan out of it. You don't do it as big as you normally would, a little bit smaller. You take a little bit of garlic and you put on the cutting board. I will do this with coriander, so a little bit of coriander here, and a little bit of nigella seeds. And then you put the bread on top of the topping and do a little bit more rolling with your rolling pin. The thing that will happen then is that the different things you put on will stick to the bread, like this. So now you have a bread that incorporated with all the different flavors. I will do the same again, but this time I will do it with parsley instead. A little bit of garlic here. parsley, Nutella seeds. Take the dough, flatten it out a little bit, put it on top, and use your rolling pin to press it in. And then you have it here. So here I have two different types. The third one I'm going to do natural, because I'm going to show you how you can do with butter as well. You can take the butter, melt it, and maybe put in some garlic in it directly, so you can have a garlic butter instead. And I will have no of the either parsley or coriander on this one. So that is so out in the oven, and then I'll be back. So now the naan breads are done, and like I promised, I'm gonna do a little bit with butter. Normally you have like the naan bread and just sprinkle some melted butter on top of it. We do that with the topping. But if you still want some garlic flavor in it, so why not take garlic press and press in a little bit garlic in the butter, so you get the type of garlic butter. Now I do it directly, but normally you can maybe lay down for 10 minutes to get the flavors into the butter, but now for purposes I do it here directly. So just put it on and take some garlic butter over it. So this is the end of this episode. Here you have naan bread made in my pizza oven with some different type of toppings. And next time I'll be back and we'll do naan bread with smoked shrimps and garlic mayonnaise. So until next time, take care and be safe. Bye.